Okay, so in this tutorial, I want to start talking to you about methods in JavaScript and the difference between functions and methods. So anytime in this course we've created a function, we've used the function, we've used the function keyword like function say hello, console.log say hello, or we've done arrow functions. Those are functions that we have defined, functions that did something, whether they added two numbers together, um, you know, whether they return heads or tails in a coin toss, whether it provides a solution for the FizzBuzz challenge, okay? Those are functions that we wrote in JavaScript. But in JavaScript, there's all these inbuilt methods, I like to call them superpowers, that we can use. And we've seen them before. So for example, anytime we've created a random number, okay, and we've said, for example, mat.random, okay, dot random is an inbuilt method in JavaScript. We're calling it on the mat object, okay, to generate a random number. We'll talk more about objects in the next chapter and later on in the course, but essentially using .random we were able to access this inbuilt method in JavaScript. And what we've seen is if we create an array, when we log out heroes, for example, so if I say let heroes be equal to, we'll just do Superman, we'll do Robin, sorry guys, sorry, apologies, Robin and Batman, right? Let's add Wonder Woman. Okay, so we have this array called heroes, right? And if I log that out to the console, if I say console.log heroes, I'm not using the spread operator, I want to show you something. So if I just save and refresh, so we've seen something similar before. We have the elements in the array, we have the drop down, we see the key value pairs, so 0 is Superman, 1 is Robin, index 2 has a value of Batman, and index 3 has Wonder Woman, the length property. But notice we have this like little drop down here, okay? And a lot of these are like, for example, basically inbuilt methods that we can use in JavaScript. There's stuff we can use on the array. So for example, when we use, the name of the array .length, we're accessing the length property. It's some sort of characteristic of an array. But what we can also do is use all these inbuilt methods. So a lot of the most popular ones are map, pop, push, reduce, and reverse. And to call any of these methods on an array, all you need to do is just really type out the array name, use dot notation, and access whatever property or method you want to use. So we're going to use the reverse method in this tutorial. So you've already actually been accessing properties of an array. So for example, instead of saying console.log heroes, if I say console.log length, what we're doing is we're actually just accessing a property of the array. But what I want to do now is, instead of just doing that, I want to call the reverse method. So what we can do is we could say, we could create a new array, but we could just say heroes dot reverse, okay? Heroes dot reverse. And what this will do is it'll switch the elements of the array. It reverses it, okay? So now, if I console.log heroes, I'll do it twice. I'll do it here and before, and I'll show you. Console.log heroes, okay? Screen of save and refresh. Okay, the first time we log out the array, it's in order that the array was initially, basically created. It's Superman, Robin, Batman, Wonder Woman, okay? Superman, Robin, Batman, Wonder Woman. We're just logging out the values of the array to the console, okay? But when I use heroes.reverse and then I log out the value, notice what has happened, okay? Wonder Woman is now at the front. Wonder Woman was at index 3, or the last element of the array. She's now at the front of the array at index 0. Batman was 0, 1, 2. He was the third element of the array at index 2, but now he's the second element in the array at index 1. So it just reverses. So to show you this another example, what I want to do is I just want to create an array called cities. We'll say let cities be equal to. I don't know why, we'll do Australian cities. We'll do Sydney, Perth, Melbourne. I guess Australia's on my mind today. I've never set foot in Australia. How sad is that? Not yet, anyway. Okay, so we've created our array called cities. We've said let cities be equal to, we have our opening and closing, square bracket notation, Sydney, Perth, Melbourne, Brisbane. And if we console.log cities, let's use the spread operator this time, right? We've seen the spread operator before to unpack. So we should see Sydney, Perth, Melbourne, Brisbane, right? But now, if I call the reverse method, and the reverse method you just say dot reverse and then parentheses. And remember, we've seen so far in this course, if we create our own function, a function with no parameters, like say hello, to call or invoke the function, we type out the name of the function name and then use our parentheses. It's very similar, if not basically the exact same, for the inbuilt methods in JavaScript. You call the method, and this one has no parameters passed in. So now if I basically want to call the reverse method on cities, I just type out cities dot reverse, and this is a method rather than a property. So where previously we've typed out the array name dot length to access a property, when you want to access an inbuilt method or function in JavaScript, use your parentheses because you're calling or invoking a method. And now, if we say console.log dot cities, remember, console.log cities gives us the array, but if you use a spread operator before the array name, it just unpacks it. It'll just directly put out the values to the console instead of all the other stuff I showed you. So now we get Brisbane, Melbourne, Perth, Sydney. So the elements of the array have now been reversed. Okay? So guys, that is the reverse method in JavaScript that you can use on arrays. I just want you to be aware that it exists. So that's that tutorial. I'll see you in the next one.